Take a trip. Hello, Mike. Can you hear me? I don't hear you if you are speaking, Mike. Yeah, I can. We can't hear you. Hold on. Yeah, for some reason I cannot hear you at all. I heard the music just now. See, we'll check on my end. I see you in the comments. It says I am speaking. Hello, hello, hello. Check, check. Mike, if you're there, I still can't hear you. Can you guys hear me? Okay, I'll hang up and come back in.
I am not muted. Comments. Brandon's off. Comments running. And I'm running too. So it's on your end, James. I don't know what you're doing, but. So. Yeah, it's on Mike's end, Amy. Hey, how's it going, JT? If you're still there, if anybody's still there. Yeah, I'm just gonna bang on my guitar till James figures out what he can do on his end. I can't do anything about it. Unfortunately. Anyways. Can you hear me now, James? Cannot hear me. All right. I don't phone it, James. Unfortunately, we might not be talking about orbs tonight. So it's usually not that difficult. He probably doesn't got his mic set up for his or no, not his mic, his stereo set up for his computer. Can you hear me now, James? So James, you probably don't got your stereo it's not me either, buddy. It's people can hear me, everyone can see me, and I can hear you, but you can't hear me. So it has to be on your end. It has to be your speakers. I don't think you have your speaker set up. Okay, let's try this again. Are your speakers set up? I haven't had this problem ever before, ever. Are your speakers connected to your computer? Oops, I misspelled computer. Oh well, I'm sure I'll figure it out. So, anyways, James figures out on his end what to do. Because if you guys can hear me and I can hear him, no comments heard heard me before. No, comments heard me before. Yeah, we all can hear. We can all hear you, James. You can't hear me. We all hear you, and they hear me. They hear you, and they hear me. Oh, I can't type. You think after I'm writing a book right now, I'm only 18,000 words into it, but that's pretty good for 10 days of typing. Okay. We all hear you, and they hear me. It's you that can't hear me. It's you that can't hear me. So it's on your end. So anyways, what else can we do? Okay, so anyways, you see all those dots there on that image? That's actually James in the background. I guess he's about 6'4". He's a big man, and these show up. Looks like it's based on what I'm looking there. It's springtime, maybe. There's no leaves there, but it looks like it's budding. But I can't tell you that. In the meantime, while we're waiting for James to figure out some, let's check out a video. This is from Eddie from last night. It's not audio or anything. It's just, but he filmed what he believes is. Okay, there you go. James disappeared now. All right. That was Eddie. Now he feels that they're orbs, and something is going on. If you were able to pay attention to the video, I guess I always play it again if necessary. But what happened was, yeah, he was doing one of his spiels about the issues of the Bible, right? And as he's going along, things start showing up.
Check. Check.
Check, check, check. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. What did you do different this time?
I just put in headphones. Now in the beginning, in the what?
That's funny. No, it's funny. It's because it's we could hear. They could hear me. They could hear you. You just couldn't hear me because you didn't have your headphones on. I was trying to.
No, I could hear you the whole time. I could hear you. When I came in, the chat could hear me. I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me.
No,
And
I know. It was no. It was opposite. It was the opposite. You couldn't hear me, but it's okay.
what are you gonna tell me what I can't hear? You really? You gotta tell me what I heard, right?
Well, no. I know you heard me, but you didn't
Right.
hear. You didn't hear me.
I did hear you. Oh, I did hear you. I heard the music. I heard you playing guitar. I heard all that.
But then when I talked to you, and you didn't respond.
Well, I did hear you, but you didn't hear me. But all that matters, we are here now.
That's right. That's
We
right.
are here now.
Right. So things happen. So
Yeah, yeah,
usually try to help get people to join me a little bit early before the show, but it's okay. You know,
yeah. Oh yeah, we did it. We're good.
we made it happen, man. So how you doing?
Good, good. That
How's
was
your day been?
day's been good. Been hanging out with kids and cleaning up after kids and cooking for kids and now I'm ready to entertain our spiritual community, our
There,
awakened community.
there you go. So we were talking about this. Well, first of all, I showed an image. Did you watch that video at all? Did you notice any of that of Eddie?
No.
Okay, so but maybe we'll go over it again later. But he's got a video of what he believes, and I think he might have a point to it of Orbs showing up in his truck. And what was fascinating because he's like he studied the Bible quite a bit, and he knows all the contradictions, and he talks about them, and he slams the Bible with his fist or his back of his wrist, and boom, all these things pop up, and then they start flying all over the place. But the thing is, in his truck, I noticed, and I think he said there was no air, but I pay attention. None of his hair is blowing. None of his like his arm hairs or his hair in his head or his shirt. There's no indication of the fan blowing, but it's almost like something when he. It's like when he. No, either it could be dandruff from his beard and all that kind of stuff, or it actually was orbs. So
Mm-hmm.
moving. I think it was a combination of both myself, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm 100% sure. I'm a guy who has a beard, and I know you probably had a beard before, and maybe not. And you get dandruff in it. You know what I mean? Um, dry skin, and that could be that when he's combing.
Yeah. I
Or
guess.
but the thing is, they were flying around before he did that, and around him. So and it's like, well, maybe the spirits are happy that you are warning people to stay away from that thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, he still believes in the creator. He just says, stay away from that stuff. Well,
Oh yeah.
I think we both agree with that, right? Basically, um, stay away from the Bible.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But this is not a religious thing. So, but that's the point. I just was sharing that. I wanted you to critique it and all that. But, anyways, if we get to it, we get to it. So, the rest of you here, thank you, Amy. Um, do you know Amy Smith?
Is she from TikTok?
I don't know, Amy. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I can't. I don't know if we ever communicated before, but and there's just about a couple of us in here right now. So there was a few more earlier, but
Oh, now she hears both of us. Thank you, Amy. Thank you for all
yeah.
your help. Thank you.
See, I don't hear James now. Only you. I
You
hear
don't
you.
hear me? You don't
No,
hear me?
no. But now she says I hear both of you.
Oh,
So
okay. Oh,
everything's cool. So yes, spiritual intention 7. So okay, there you go. Okay. Oh
oh,
yes.
spiritual
Oh hey.
intentions. Hey,
Yeah.
Amy.
How's it going, Amy?
Yeah. Thank you.
So I guess we should try to get into this stuff. Let's start out with who is James? And your last name is Lindsay or Lindsay?
Lindsay.
Lindsay. It's almost French, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it could
Sounds
be.
it sounds French. I don't know what it,
Yeah, it
but
does.
Lindsay. So James, he's been with us before in the beginning of the year. I call him America's or whisper, at least one of them, the best one I know of that I've seen as far as videos go. So I always like listening to what James has to say and share what he has to share. And we'll start off with who is James Lindsay?
Well, I am a orb researcher and out of body experiencer. Um, I have been traveling out of the body since I was 20, over 20 years. I learned it all happened one day when I bought a book called The Psychic Explorer, written by a man named V. Van Dam. And The only way to really explain it is the day I bought this book and I brought it home and read the first few pages. It literally changed my life. I started experiencing out of body experiences. I started waking up, floating in my room, flying in my ceiling, spinning in the air, seeing myself sleeping. And then, as I read more into the book, I was learning how to control these experiences and how to make them go longer, how to prolong them. So after by the way, that was October 12th, 1995, when I had that first out of body experience. But
Wow. You remember the date? That's really good, man. That
mhm.
must have been pretty dang powerful. For
That experience changed my life forever, because the first time I tried it, I woke up on a higher dimension, totally conscious. I've never even heard of higher dimensions. I mean, I've never even heard of out of body experiences. And the day it was shown to me in this book how to do it, I literally laid down and tried it, just out of like funny experimental gesture to see if it would work. And I actually woke up on a higher dimension where I was had a light body, and I was playing an invisible guitar, and the music was the most incredible feeling of love you can ever imagine or hear. And it sounded like three chords, like you're playing your guitar and it's dun 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 dun. It was just those three chords over and over, but they felt like love. I mean, a love that you can only dream of. And I remember I stopped playing, going, what the heck and what is going on? And I literally watched the music go away from me as a wave pattern. It had a beginning and an end, and it waved. It was in a wave form, and it went into the light, and the light shimmered, and the light shimmered back to me, a wave form that had a beginning and an end, that was floating towards me. And when it touched me, I heard the most perfect music, like the most perfect tones, which sounded like my existence. It sounded like this is the sound of my existence. And all that love rose, and all that golden light shifted to this. I felt a feeling of rising up, and all the light shifted to a white light, and I felt oneness. I mean, a deep, profound state of oneness, where I was so conscious in this oneness, I kept thinking to myself, pencils, pens, Coke bottles, door handles, ships, boats, bridges, streets, buildings, everything is just this oneness. And then I slowly woke up and was changed forever.
so yeah, yeah, and this book must have been pretty profound. It on Amazon must be pretty good too because it's $94.
No, no, you have to maybe buy it used. I don't look around for it. It shouldn't be that expensive. I've seen now. I've talked
Well,
about this book so much that it's probably out of stock. So okay,
so well maybe it works then. Maybe it maybe some validation towards what you're saying that that book actually helped. I just finished reading Journeys
out of the body,
Out of the Body by
Robert
Robert
Monroe.
Monroe. You're right, and I'm posting
Hmm.
it right now. And yeah, so yeah, it's good. It's this first one. What's his second book called? I can't remember. Second book's called.
Who,
Okay,
Robert Monroe's?
yeah, he has a couple books out at
Um,
least,
the second one. Um,
or maybe that's the second one. I can't remember which. He's got several. I got to find out. Um,
yeah,
my point being that that one was. I don't know if it really taught that well how to do it.
right,
I
right.
read
I
the
hear
whole
you.
thing.
Right.
So is this book like expand upon it? A psychic explorer, does it expand further?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. It's the way it's sectioned off. It's like a manual. Okay, so there might be like section one, um, astral projection, and then under that section it'll be 1-1, the astral plane, 1-2, astral frequencies, 1-3, astral entities, 1-4, astral blah blah blah, and then it'll get to journeys out of their body, and then it'll go 2-1, 2-2, and he's talking about different things you can encounter out of the body. Then so it proceeds like a manual.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to do it myself. I'd like to at least try. I don't know. When I was a child, I remember having out of body experiences, and I would dream, and I'd be floating above the trees in the neighborhood and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, I get something that scared me, and used to because I was floating up and above the trees. It was scaring me, realizing I was doing that. And then I was zapped back in my body, and I would jerk violently right as I came back in my body. So my legs and my arms and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Those my most memorable dreams. And then when I heard from other people their stories, like, did I have an out of body experience when I was a kid? But anyways, it's something that's I think is worth exploring more, especially if there's an afterlife
Oh yeah.
and if there are other dimensions to go to, and if you don't want us to come back here as well, I think that's something to think about. Yeah, I'm looking at your image here. I don't know if you can see it, but the one I have posted
Mm-hmm.
that's showing right now and share screen. And I noticed that something in this picture that just got me a thought because I film these same thing too. And you get these ones that are really energetic and bright.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what if the possibility is that these real energetic ones, when they exert their energy, all these other ones that are fainter and less, not as strong as far as appearance and energy, I wonder if they like come out of it.
Could be.
Have you
Very
ever
well
thought
could
about it?
be.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like a bubble that pops and
Right.
all those particles come out, right?
Right.
Um, because sometimes I've seen orbs that seem like there's more than one entity in the orb.
Right.
Like the orb itself is some kind of vehicle that other spirits travel in, or yeah, it's a way of travel. It's some kind of vehicle. Now, I'm not saying it's so. I'm just saying this is what it seems to be appearing to me.
Right.
That is what's appearing to me. So I'm looking at how bright that is, and how many times I filmed one that's that bright, and then seconds later, there'll be like an image like this where it's full of them, and then there's none. But I have no way to prove what I'm saying. It just seems to appear to be that case.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that some orbs have more energy than others,
Right.
or that some orbs they stand out more because if say there's multiple or parallel universes running alongside us and around us, basically we're walking and living and swimming in the ether that's full of all these different possible parallel worlds or universes, right? That maybe that's just an indication as well. Seeing the different layers of the worlds that are around us. I don't know if that makes sense, but some, depending on what dimension or world they're in, they'll be more brilliant than others.
Right.
Or it could be that it's something like, well, you guys always talk about energy and frequency, low frequency, you're more dense, just more dense. And the higher frequency, you're more lighter. Is there something like that going on? I don't know. I have no idea. What do you think? What have you thought? I'm sure you thought about it.
As far as intensity and brightness.
What it means.
Yeah.
Why does some more brighter than others? Why
Right.
are
Well,
some?
I think I feel that I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like it could be some kind of form of communication where they want to really just want us to look inside, and and I feel like they have to time it perfectly with the flash of the camera that's going off, to that where they establish a kind of rhythm. So I think when we get really bright ones on cameras like this, I think it's a real gift that they actually was able to find the right timing along with us and manifest something that we can look into and decipher.
So what are they trying to communicate?
They could be trying to communicate a way to where you look inside them and you see maybe fourth dimension. You feel fifth dimension because I know that all I have to do is look inside them, and my brain feels like I'm seeing something that it can't see. It normally wouldn't see, and I feel as if like it almost feels like it's different parts of my brain are waking up, and seeing how all these beings are littered together, forming faces. And what's really interesting is when you show it to other people and other people show you what they see, it's just very interesting that certain people on the lower energy, I'm going to say on the lower vibration spectrum, will see negative things, and people on the higher vibrational spectrum will see light things and smiling things. So it's just very interesting to me that that this is actually even possible to actually look inside and see this kind of energy of language happening. And so just viewing it itself feels like it's doing something. Perhaps it's evolving us. I'm not sure, or making our eyes better. I'm not sure, but there's definitely some kind of message that they're trying to convey.
Yeah, it's okay. This was fair enough. So when we say they, what are they?
Well, I'm leaning towards anything non-physical, okay, which could mean someone's, it could be you sleeping on out of your body. It could be an extraterrestrial who's in a craft that's able to leave his body and come down. It could be your pet dog that's sleeping and out of his body, your pet bird, your pet cat. Anything you could think of non-physical, right? That now, but also I think the possibility exists that these beings are actually some kind of evolutionary probe or awareness device that's going around and helping people grow into love. And they're attracted to love frequency, so they don't hang around negative people too much. They hang around people who are at gatherings, who are playing music, who are doing poetry, who are dancing, who are doing expressions of love or expressions of creativity. So like I said, we're still all researching this, and it's just fascinating that we all come together and learn a little bit from each other.
Yeah, it's very difficult to fully comprehend what's going on here. You're talking about the different activities, and obviously anybody's hearing this, no, I know James, so I'm kind of just going at it. more people might take a break and break it down more, but and we will. But you said different activities and expressions of love and or energy or high frequency. So then that also could be the possibility of making love, right? Then they must be around that things like that, right?
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, Monroe talks about that in his outer body experiences, and he talks about the sex drive, how he's shocked when he was in the other side, how that was heightened to the point that he wanted to have sex with other entities on the other side. Um, why am I getting to? Because we were just talking about energy and sexuality, and creativity and these kind of things that seem to be attracted to. Um, well, you've had all about experiences. Robert Monroe, right about that.
Yeah. I've haven't had. I mean, I've had dreams about that, but as far as astral sex, I have never consciously have done that. But there is a way that I have done before where you blend your energy with another being's energy, and it's almost exists as if you guys um, just merge into each other, and you can feel that person's energy, and it's almost like existing as one being together as one ball of light. And
Huh.
and I guess in a way, I guess they say that that is even more expressive and better suits us than any kind of physical um thing that looks
Well,
physical.
that's what Monroe was basically saying too, wasn't it? In a way, he wasn't like the literal like act that we do as human beings in the flesh. It was a merging in. It was like somehow sharing energy, and it was like an orgasmic experience. It wasn't something. What he said was that it wasn't like something on the other side that they felt it was necessary to do,
Hmm.
but they would do it anyways because well, they found it comical and because he wanted
Hmm. I understand.
it. So power of intent, right? And
Right.
what's on the inside of what's really driving us, whether chemical or psychological. And that's just his experience. I notice everyone has a little different experience. No one
Hmm.
exactly has the same experience.
Right.
And I don't even know if it might not even be possible. And I mean, we could like maybe like you and I, we are sharing a moment in our experience here in the physical, but I'm not with you 24/7 and or in your head, and nor are you in mine or with me. You know what I mean? So we can't. It's not like we are here, but we're not like sharing our experience permanently. And then we talk about the other side. He gave me the impression that like you're kind of a wallflower that's at time given chances to interact with these people. But these individuals on the other side uh, at times recognize you're there, but they keep on with their life, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then like a lot of times too, like you have to decipher and be really aware if that's your creation or not too. Are you creating that person, or not? You know.
That's fascinating. It's almost like you because like the Tibetan Book of the Dead talks about that when you go to the other side, that you will experience imagery, dreams, or
Hmm.
illusions, or from our mind or our psyche,
Hmm.
and that we need to. They feel that you need to prepare yourself, discipline yourself, so that you will not be tricked by these
Tricked, right?
images.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and then that comes through experience. That only comes through having experiences, so that you can decipher and know what's real and what's not. You know.
Which then suggests, James, that if that's the case, then the practice that you're doing and others like you is more important than just a passing of time or something fun to do or just have an experience, but that it's actually a skill or a part of us that we all maybe need to be preparing or discipline or working on.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, and I'm pretty sure that everything that you learn in the astral plane or while you're out of the body, you can learn how to handle this 3D world better. You know, and understand that even some of the people you meet in this world aren't real. And then what I mean by that is they don't have your best intentions, and it could help you easier decipher people instead of having connections with people who are lower frequency and trying to lure you into their life so that they can perhaps gain a feeling of being superior to you, you know because they don't, because there's something in you that they feel they don't have, so they want to try to diminish your light. And I tell you guys, the of all my 20 years of leaving my body, still to this day, the most negative beings I've ever encountered are these humans that we sit with every day on this planet, in our world. A lot of people will talk about negative entities and demons, things like that. And I'm gonna tell you guys, the only things I've ever experienced on that level of evil have been live beings, human beings in your day-to-day life?
That's quite a statement, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And it's quite a statement. So then, also, so a lot of these beings and entities that we see on the other side, they're quite scary looking, right? I mean, they're what, thanks to Hollywood and fiction, have implanted and religion as well, and folklore has implanted images of these monsters that are scary, but not necessarily doing anything to it.
Right, right, and not necessarily. Like the first time I met an extraterrestrial being, like I, honest to God, I felt a little weird. As I was approaching it, he introduced himself to me, and I did the same thing, and he asked me if I wanted to come aboard the ship. And I was like, yeah, yeah, I come aboard. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. I had a little jump in my step. Here we go. We're about to go aboard this ship. And as I get closer to him, there's a point in my brain where I'm like, dang, this dude looks weird. He was big and green, like 9 foot tall, with two big eye stalks. And I was like, he had like a silver spacesuit on. And as I'm getting close, I start slowing down. I'm like, dang, this dude look weird. And then all of a
Yeah,
sudden,
when you say eye stalks, what do you mean by that, eye stalk?
I mean, his head was a dome with a nose and a mouth, and it had two projected eye stalks with long antennas that were eyes that
Almost
popped
like,
out the side of his head.
almost like
That went,
something like like an
yeah,
insect.
like antennas, like at 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock on his head that went up as eyes, though. And at the time, I just understood that, hey, I'm blessed to be in this experience, and this being looks different than anything I could have ever imagined. And here
Yeah.
I am standing 6 feet from it, and I think it sensed my uneasiness, and he turned into a human real quick with one green glowing eye. And I felt that he did that to make me feel easier. And then by that time, I was like, oh, cool. I just went right up, popped up right. We went right on the ship. By that time, it was easy. But as I got close, I still had a little bit of like, dang, that dude look weird.
It's interesting. And then what it decided to do was to transform or shapeshift in an image that you're more comfortable with. And I've
Right,
heard
right,
this numerous times from other people that uh, that's their impression as well, that there's these entities that are some kind of energy. We'll call them entities because we don't know what else is, but that they project or shapeshift in order for to satisfy our
and he fears.
yeah, well, deal, yeah, that's a big thing
Yeah,
right there, right? So
yeah,
in other words, on the if these things are what they really look like, maybe they're so bizarre looking and so, and of course we've been brainwashed to think,
right,
and we think like in this physical realm where it's this, we live in a very predacious, violent world, really. When you think about it, everything's eating something else.
right.
You know what I mean? From the smallest to the biggest. So then I guess our psyche is telling us that when we get to the other side and we see these things, that, oh my gosh, there must be there to eat us. Is that, I mean, what else are we thinking on their side? I mean, what do you think? I mean, when you see these weird looking things, before, because my brainwashed uh, mind, everything was a demon, right? Thanks to Christianity.
Right,
Now,
right,
6 years later, experience and talking to others and working things out, I realized it's probably not fair to label any of these things that demons just because they look scary or even if they cause us fear and dread.
right.
I mean, because it's not like they're. Um, I tell you what, we can do, James. We can get you to share your. Uh, let's see which one I
Don't
want.
go fiddling around losing me again.
It's not going to be that. I, I
We'll
think
be,
I think you might have to. No, let me see if I can.
yeah. Like,
We're right there. And
next
we're
thing
gonna,
you know, James, we lost you. I think you hit the wrong button. There you go. We were side by side for a second.
Yeah. Now I want to see what to do here. I can't remember exit soul layout. There you go. Okay, I got it. So now we
Nice.
can see your stuff, and we have to see my stuff or some new stuff. So what we got here? What we're looking at?
This is a being that appeared about 2 years ago when I was actively performing CE5 with Dr. Stephen Greer.
Yeah, okay. So you're following his tapes, or do you know Steven?
I was following his tapes
Okay. Do
and
you
using
do
his
you know
app.
do you know Steve by chance?
You mean personally?
Have you met him?
Oh, I met him at the beginning of time when we were all together as one
Oh,
being. I haven't
okay.
seen him
Okay.
since then.
Okay. Fair enough. It wouldn't matter one way. I just wondered because I know you when you were younger you went around out west and stuff like that. It could have been a chance you might have met him.
Yeah, I
Look at
met
that.
I
So
have
look at
met
that.
Jonathan Reed though. I have
Okay.
talked to him. I have talked to Chris Bledsoe. I have met Barbara Hand Clow. I've talked to a few people who are pretty strong in the spiritual community that I've known. I have physically talked to them, but not him.
No problems. No big deal. So look at what I'm looking at is okay. Is there like a big entity there?
You mean
Or
right here
right in there? Yeah.
or over here? Well, this is to me what it looks like is two orbs. The
What
original picture looks like
what's
this.
up with the two orbs pairing up all the time? I film it all the time. The
Yeah, I
two,
think it has something to do with perhaps displacement and timing of between the cameras, like they're trying to project, and maybe it takes a couple of them to help bring out something bigger. you know like I said, it's fascinating research, and there needs to be more work done, plain and simple. There needs to
yeah.
be some kind of
Because I just wondered if there's ones that pair off that work in unison. Because I find them all the time. They all at times they look just like eyes.
mm-hmm.
Like maybe
Like right here, like there's an eye right there, there's an eye down here, even in the darkness around them I was seeing eyes.
yeah, I can see it. I could definitely see that one. It's got you see the white of the iris,
Yeah.
and I mean what I see. I can't mess with your picture, but you can. I see clearly two eyes and nose. You can even see the nose bridge. You can see the uh, almost the eyebrows. Now he's upside down. It's not that way, but if you get back upright, you can see it
Right.
right there. So what is that streak of energy going there too? Look at that. I mean,
Yeah, I believe this was a group of visitors that came to visit me. And shortly, if it wasn't this day, it could have been this night, or within the next night. I actually had my first recorded CE5 with a ship in the sky, and I communicated with it, and it communicated right back to me on Facebook Live, and I was able to record it.
so what about Jacques Vallée and his take on this? That he doesn't think that these UFOs are, for the most part, are not mechanical.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I hear that they're more kind of energy and consciousness or something like that.
So like a blob of plasma, maybe.
Well,
Because I've heard of people like, okay, so when you were interacting with the UFO, not were you? Did you get a chance to touch it? Because I heard people say when they touched it, it felt like marshmallows or the Michelin Man. They didn't feel normal like how what we feel. You could really push into them.
now he's talking about physically, right?
The people that I've heard for the reports of, he in particular doesn't say that I ever heard,
Okay.
but I think he probably has a story about it. I haven't read everything that he's written.
Right.
I'm just
Yeah.
now.
So
I
physically.
just started on reading
Uh-huh.
Passport to Pagonia. So
Oh, really? Okay. So so I would love to touch one physically, but I have touched them on the astral plane, and to me they just felt like a normal. I didn't really see anything different. I mean, if I can go through a wall, a cement wall, it's the same as going through an ET ship. the whole. It really just is like a matter of just go doing it. So I really haven't had any experience, but I have had experiences where they have merged with me, where I've been out of the body and think about what should I do, and I think about extraterrestrials, and I raise my arms up and call them out of the body, and next thing you know, there's a flapping metallic elbow flowing out the sky, and it just comes down and attaches to me, and next thing you know, it morphs into a chariot, and I hold on to it, and we go flying around the air. Or all of a sudden, one time I called them down, and it came down and attached to my nose, and I remember breathing oneness and deep peace. You know, so,
So it hooked on to you. That's interesting.
right,
Now,
right.
was that in the second body state or the
That
first?
yes, that was in the out of body experience.
Okay. Well, this sounds, in 20 years, you're just so what? It's not no. All I can say is that most people I've ever met in my life, the last thing they ever think about it, as a young person, I'm going to do out of body experience. I'm going to try to make it happen. What was the impetus? What caused you to want to do that again?
Well, what caused me really is just I had an innocent curiosity and a strong desire for truth. Like I always felt from day one that I wanted to be shown the truth. I could see something was off balance in the world. I could see that people were going to church and coming home and arguing and not really, I could hear, they just weren't being led by love. So
Okay.
from 14 to about 20, I really started just searching, to see what's going on. So I started reading into meditation, Wicca, Traduc, all these different things. I just started opening my mind as much as I can to see what's really going on, because I've always felt some kind of connection to stars. I always felt that extraterrestrials are real, and I always felt that we have superpowers, that we don't, that like there's something is missing in our world. And so it just so happened when I was 20 years old, I picked up a book, like I said, only because of how big it was. And I was like, why is this book so big, out of this bookstore? And lo and behold, it was about a man who'd been leaving his body for 21 years, and he decided to write a book about it. So I'm like, wow, this is cool. I never heard about this. I want to try it. So I bought it immediately, took it home, and did it. And it changed my life. And so I was very innocent.
And this is the Psychic
Right.
Explorer book.
Explorer. Right.
It's not one of Robert Monroe's books or one of the
No.
people out of the Monroe Institute. Okay.
No. It was very innocent, very innocent. I was, like I said, I still had my childlike innocence about me. Well, I still do now. Um, but um, but I was innocent enough to actually fall in love with this subject because it happened, and I said, "Wow! Out of this whole world full of lies, here's a book." And the day I buy it, it's proven to me that it's real. That was a pretty solid foundation for me to just take it to the stars from there.
I'm getting envious of you now.
Huh?
I'm getting envious of you now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got that book and you're doing it.
hmm
But it's interesting, almost like you're led to discover this, like something, because it be possibly something outside of you that kind of nudged you this way. I mean, were there any kind of forces around you trying to keep you from doing this, like religious people? You know,
No, no, not at
I'm
that
thinking like
time.
Christians and that kind of stuff. Or there's a lot of religious people will tell you you
Oh
can't do
yeah.
that. You
Oh yeah,
can't
oh
do that.
yeah. Of course they would try to see that. Oh yeah, of course. As soon as I would mention that I'm doing this, I would get resistance, even from people who weren't religious. They were already brainwashed, oh, that's just a dream. That's not real, you can't do that just because they're not doing it. And I'm like, dude, I'm doing this. This is real, dude. I'm doing this to the point where I'm like, okay, you go ahead and be in your little world, and I'm gonna be over here in this galaxy. and then I just give up. I'm not. I don't have to try to convince people, that it's real. I just learned that it was real for me, and that was enough for me to learn from it. And so I start learning. Let bygones be bygones.
Were there any real life mentors in your life early? Was anybody in your family that was into any of this?
No, not one
Not
person.
not one person you knew. So
Not one person.
that's really impressive to me because it says that you were actually kind of following your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
You were following your own thing. So which
Yeah.
it's retrospect looking back, it is quite a big deal because there's how many people actually do it,
Right.
follow
Right.
their own bliss, their own thing. A lot of people talk about that. How many people actually do it? So
Right.
that's
Right.
fascinating. So what we're looking here is what's going on here with this orb. What do
Oh,
you
these
see?
are just well to me. This one looks like a face, of course. It started off.
Like a human face or
Well, it started off like this in my backyard, and then
okay.
when you zoom in on it, that light starts to define and get a little bit more defined. See that?
Look at all the energy that's emitting off of it, and it's going through the. I mean, it's hard to see because of the angle and all that, but I've seen enough of these to know that they're emitting uh, from one end of the visible spectrum to the next within that orb and the electromagnetic frequency. From ultraviolet to infrared.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? How those colors change. Like, look at yeah. And so I always see a face with an eye right here, an eye right here, a little rounded nose right here, and kind of like looking sad face a little bit.
Oh, it's interesting. Can you change the angle a little bit and see if we can get a better
You,
your
you mean like
your
you mean
phone?
like this?
Change your angle of your phone so we maybe get a better view of it.
You mean like what do you mean angle like this? Or you mean
Like tip it forward or backwards and see if the screen will. It's a little more. It's about the same. I mean, I can see something, but oh, that's a lot better right there. Especially when we had the orange hue to it. Hmm.
yeah?
Does it have arms as well, or is it his brow? What is it? Is it wearing? A lot
It,
of times I film these things that look like they're wearing like a hood
or crown sometimes,
or
yes.
some kind of helmet like
A
thing.
helmet. That's right. Yeah, a lot of times like I could show you what I see, then it's up to you. Like now I see a
I gave
man
up on that.
a man right there.
Actually, what I'm going to do with my book is I can some of my better images. I'm going to do a drawing side by side it and say this is what I'm seeing, so that
Oh,
people,
nice.
you know what I mean? Because like you said, it's with the way this thing works. You see it one way, and I see it another way, and everybody sees something different. And
Right.
I think part of it is the training of the eye, and then maybe it's intentional. Maybe we're not supposed to all see the same thing.
Yeah, that's true. And maybe from us seeing everything differently, when we look at it together, we see the same thing. And maybe it's some way to bring us together that we don't know about.
Yeah.
And here's another face. To me, this is my favorite face.
So what do you see? I see like almost like a mouth in the
I
bottom there
see I
with
see
teeth.
the white of the eye, the dark of the eye, one eye, the white of the eye, the dark of the eye, the nose kind of straight, the cleft of the lip, and the open mouth right
Oh
here.
yeah, it's almost like an ET looking one, isn't it?
Right, right,
Phone home type ET looking one.
right.
Now, it's because they're possible that there's more than one entity in there.
Well, I don't see why not. I think so. I believe so. Like I said before, I think they're showing us some kind of where they're unified but can be singled off into one being, like groups of them coming together to form one being, but you can see how that one being is many beings.
Yeah. I like it. Like when we go to the other side, we're not necessarily alone. We're with a group of spirits, and each group of spirits it lives within one of these balls of plasma or energy we call an orb.
Right.
With if the deep is plasma, but I'm assuming it probably has some connection with it because they claim that the vast majority of the universe is made up of plasma.
Yeah,
Up to,
plasma based universe.
up to 99% of it. So that depending on who you listen to. So interesting. Phone home ET. That's what I see.
Hmm. And of course, we have the one and the only um, LOVE orb, right?
Yeah, and then you also found an orb the shape of a Y.
Mm-hmm. Shaped like a Y, right?
It's very interesting. Now I've been able to film and be able to see the difference between leaves because my camera P900 with the flash it picks up the leaves flying in the air perfectly, right? And then I'll find other orbs that look like they're or spirits or something, some energetic being that looks like it has wings. Um, there it is. It's love, LOVE.
Clear as day.
So, which is very. I mean, it's. What do you think it was trying to say?
Well,
Or
there's a
was it?
couple things. There's a couple things it could have been trying to say. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so at that time, I was with my. I had a girlfriend who I was showing her that the orbs were real, and we were very much in love. Okay, so I just want to say that could be a message. They could be just saying, "Hey, you guys are in love," or it could have just been saying, "Hey, this is love." So it's really, um, the message though is just very simple, love, and to me that speaks for itself. Just love,
Now,
and
did you notice this first, or somebody else? The
I
love
don't
thing.
remember. I
Okay.
don't rem- I think I noticed it first. I think I noticed it first. I think I showed it to her, and maybe they were trying to. What's funny is maybe they were trying to show her that yeah they are real and that she needs to maybe get on board with me, but that wasn't enough for her. But I ended up divorcing her 10 years later. She didn't really care about this stuff at all.
I
So
understand. It's just, it seems like there's so few of us, so you think there'd be a lot more people, but I think the way the Matrix is designed right now, most people have a hard time even accepting that there is life after death, let alone
now when you rotate it, of course, and read it backwards.
evil.
This says LOVE. When you rotate it, that L starts to look like a Y from the back. And it looks like a Y now. And it says YOU. Could be a YOU.
You, I love you. Okay,
Yeah.
or
Or
you love
your, or
your
your,
your love,
or our.
or our yeah.
But
Uh,
I truly believe that there's some hidden message in cropping orb circles and crop circles in England. There's some connection between, maybe they're the same beings, but
well, I think it's
definitely.
it's like so many of this research is just like you have to weed through the differences. Like, when it comes to orbs, you film in the air. Not everything's an orb stuff. Some is actually dust particulate, and some of it is water vapor. And but then there's other things that are so energetic. I mean, they could, the some could be a reflection off some of the fabric of not fabric. Some particle of something that's metallic in nature. That's always that possibility. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
But when you see these things and are so energetic, and it's just like they mass up, like we talked about before, and then they start moving in like a deliberate fashion. So here
Right.
you are doing the same thing that's going on. This is just like what's going on in Eddie's place in his truck.
This is actually live right now in my room.
Really?
Yes, this is all live right here.
Well, I see them flying around.
Say hello.
I mean, I guess you could, but I don't hear you waving your hand or waving anything. I don't
Well,
hear a
I could look.
fan.
Here's my foot. Make a line right here. Touch right there.
There he goes.
Yeah, this was actually a really good video. There were some really bright ones in this video, like when I first started it. So this is actually live right now. I don't mind my room, a little junky, but
Yeah, that's all
well,
right.
that's the sign of being a researcher. We got a lot of mess sometimes.
That's right. We get focused on this stuff, we forget about all the material stuff. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's well, this is really awesome,
Look,
man.
they're moving in waveforms for you. You guys want to look at this?
I am. Yeah, look at it. There's only a couple of us right now, but the people that did join us later, they got one heck of a show if they stick it out. Look at this.
Wow, look at that one. You guys want to put on a show? Put on a show. Let's go. They're very happy, excited to be here. Can you show us a sign that you're happy to be here? Oh
There.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you. Thank you. We'll turn the camera off so you guys can hang out.
Oh, come on. We want to watch you guys, man.
Look
We're
at it.
not
Look
talking.
at him.
Yeah, we want to watch you. That's what we want to do. This what we're here for is for you guys.
We're here for you guys. We're here for you.
So
Thank
what?
you.
But here's the thing: are they humans, or
Well,
are they just because they seem to work in unison at times, and they
right.
seem to be responsive to your positive vibes and your thoughts. So,
Mm-hmm.
or your negative vibes for that matter, depending on what you want to manifest and bring into your life. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, are these spirits, or this is what how we end up? Is that our true essence? Just a little ball of energy, and
Could
that's
be.
and
Could
that's
be.
because when you think about, well, you talked about the brain before, and I was thinking, well, is it the brain? The brain seems to be part of the problem. It's the whole of the spirit or the mind that is the solution to everything, right? The fixing the brain and everything else, and I just sometimes wonder if it's like okay, we talk about familiar spirits and ancestral spirits. Are these things always been around you? Are these like continuous companions, or do these come and go? And a
I
new
think
batch
see
shows.
now I'm not sure, but I'm leaning towards they probably have always been here. I'm leaning towards this is some kind of energy that's always been here. And I believe it's what cats and dogs see. And perhaps could be the key to why cats and dogs find their way back home. Maybe they see the orbs and the orbs show them the way back home.
That's so wild, and it's I freaking there is a Disney movie right there.
Right.
Yeah, Orbs lead of pack or like parents. My parents had a dog, a cockapoo, and they moved, they got old, and they gave it away to somebody else, and they lived out in a farm, and my parents then moved 30 miles away, and that dog found them. First what happened was my sister and brother bought their house, right? So they moved into that house, but the dog lived like 14, 15 miles away out in the country, and he made his way home back to the old house.
Wow. How did he do that? We can't even do that.
Not without a roadmap or or some GPS. I mean, we can't seem to. So yeah,
maybe,
that's a great
if we
point.
had a camera and we get to a path and we just ask the orbs, which way do I go, west or east, and take a picture of each, and then all of a sudden you see an orb on the west, that means let's go west.
Now, I know this is a hard thing for a lot of people to hear. I hope you have patience enough, and I strongly encourage you to do what I'm doing and what James doing, or take it even as far as what James is doing, because I think you'll be shocked to find out that these things are another part of our reality. And if you say you're a person that's into the ecology and nature, the natural world, well, this is part of the natural world.
Right. That's
And
right.
so,
That's right.
I mean, well, look at that one. Look how energetic that one is in front of you. Right in front of you is how energetic it is. Is that even connected to you? Is how close is that one to you? You think
This one right here.
the one that's right next to your belly, right there? That one's really
Oh yeah.
energetic.
Yeah,
At
it's
least,
super. It's in my body, like on my body. Yeah, and that's how I know. Like from my own research, if I could show you some of the pictures I have, I was just going through one of my laptops the other day, and I was when I was studying them, I would take a picture of myself with a group of people, and sure enough, if I'm standing with 4 or 5 people in a group, the orbs would be superimposed on my body. And I was like thinking, the only way I could think is that why they would do that is because I would think that maybe they're just resonating with my frequency, and maybe other people at that in that room haven't worked on their frequency to the point where they can feel love genuinely, all the time.
right.
And so here's a picture of me with a group of people after a meditation, and there's 4 or 5 of us in this picture, and sure enough the orb is right centered inside my chest, standing with 4 or 5 people.
It's almost like well, I don't know if it's almost, but it reminds me of like the possibility of like a guardian spirits,
Mm-hmm.
a companion spirits. That's something that's always with you, watching over you, being there for you if you ever do need it.
Now there is another orb over here, connected to her, and it managed to touch her on the side there. But that was the only 2 orbs in this picture.
Well, of course, I want to be with you, James.
Well, I'm just saying it's
Right.
something with the vibration. When I'm pretty sure it's got something to do with vibration, where I can get pictures like this. Look at this crazy one.
Look how energetic that one is. That's another one of those examples where I say it's like a plasma, and within that ball or package of plasma, quanta or whatever, there are multiple beings within it,
Right.
and it all depends on what decides to manifest or the luck of the shot, the timing of it, when what shows up. Um, that's so cool. There's a lot of energy in that one. Now, did you know that did you when that pose was taken? Did you have any awareness that that was there?
Not at all. I was totally doing it off the whim and playing like a child, envisioning that they would be there with me anyway.
Were you thinking about it at the time?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Very much. Very much. Very much so. Oh, hold on. Wrong picture.
So, Chris, that's an important point too. I look at that one. That's the classic one, of the one in front of James' head, and its movement. And you can see the movement. And if you magnify it a little better, you can see it moving, and that kind of you can see the rings of the movement. Do-do-do-do-do-do. unless it's an optical illusion on my end. But
And see, when they get like that, I think they mean for us like that was a definite full blown. This is a message. Like they want to show us. Like they don't just move like that. They have to time themselves to be perfectly with the camera. I believe to do it like this. And so they are timing with the, like, there's three shots. One, two, three, boom. Then there's one, two, three, boom, and then there's another one, two, three, boom. So they have a good opportunity. They have three tries to try to get it right.
huh, interesting. Look at that one.
And all of these pictures are with many different cameras. I know that this one is a different camera because I could tell by the texture. It's not the same camera that I was using.
So, what do you say to people who think that that's just dust particles?
I I just at this point in the game, I just let them be. If someone says it's dust, usually what I'll do, and I'll say, look, I got some dust in my eye. Okay. 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 And then I'll say I must be the dustiest guy on the planet because look, I can hold a piece of dust.
Oh, look at that one. This is brilliant. Look at
You
that one.
know. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, I can hold two pieces of dust.
magnify it closer. Okay.
Okay.
I want to see it. See it. It just says closer you get. Okay.
Yeah, with this, unless I could use. Can,
Transparent, yet it has
is it
energy.
getting closer to you? Can you see it real close right now?
Um, no,
Okay.
but it's closer than it was. That's for sure.
Because I could expand the actual screen, but it's just getting closer to me. It's not getting closer to you. So, okay.
Look at that. Is that? Is there a possibility that they're emitting out of you?
Yeah, there's the possibility of that too. And I'm gonna show you guys that video that actually made me think that possibly these balls of light can be coming out of our bodies too, as well as in our immediate vicinity around us. But this video right here, when I made this video, this is the first time where I saw orb consciously look like it came out of my body. Twice,
Yeah.
you know. Have you ever seen this video, but maybe you don't remember.
Well, let's watch it again anyway,
Okay.
so other people can see it in the future.
And so right now,
So, is there a fan blowing in that room?
no, there's no
Okay.
fan.
Okay.
Okay, so watch in between my hands. One's gonna come out my solar plexus right here.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, look
Yeah,
at that.
yeah.
That is
And
awesome.
then not only did it come out right there, I'm slowing it down right now, but it came out of my head. Watch my head right here. You
Is
see
that
that?
right there? Something that's blocking your face right there.
You see that light coming out of my face right there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's an orb. That's the orb right there.
Sometimes I wonder if these are also like a manifestation of our thoughts,
Yeah, that I think that too. Like, what
psychic
if they could
energy.
be like some kind of healing energy or something that we could send to other people?
And so, if you are a person that's more, say, loving or compassionate or empathetic, you would emit more of these energetic, right, energies. Maybe you're a person just, they talk about charisma. They talk about a personality that's, like a person who walks into a room and everyone pays attention to them. Part of it obviously is what they say, but also is the whole package. And I wonder, at times, these things are part of it.
You see? Do you see that?
So if you're like a lower vibration, the odds of you even filming anything like this would be slim to none
Slim to none, right?
because you're not emitting that frequency is
Do you
necessary.
see? Do you see? Not just look above that white ball on my elbow right there. Look
Yeah.
at that. Look at that rainbow substance that's going back and forth. Watch.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What is that?
See that? Look at that.
I think I know I see something moving along with it.
You see that right there? That light right there. See how it
Yeah.
shimmers?
Uh-huh.
Like what is that? It came right off of my body, kind of like an energy field.
Well, folks, if anybody hears this in the future, you say, "Oh, I'm dismissed this. This is nonsense. This is dust particles." But I listen. Let's say it this way: when you take a scoop of soil, there are gazillions of microbes in it that you never see.
Right.
You're touching it, and there's tons of microbes, anything, and on up to worms and different kind of insects and whatever it may be. And so, what's if the creation is more dynamic than we realize, which we all hope in the end, don't we? That it's more dynamic than what we know here.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, we want more than just this. And so, how are we getting at this? So yeah, so now we're like starting to talk about the spiritual ecology that's around us and the different
Mm-hmm.
types of entities and beings and spirits and how they interact with us, how we interact with them. Um, and then there's the us as well, the us emitting this kind of energy. It would be interesting to actually do studies, and just like you said, the most negative and destructive or people entities out there are human beings. It would be interesting to do research on somebody that's really negative and these things show up, and someone like you is really positive and see the difference.
Right. That's right. That's
It's
right.
and all we would have to do is just be taking pictures.
That's right. Very simple, right? Very simple.
So as they talk about, look at that. That's a great image.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorites too. I call this image Layla Luya, and it was actually the first time I actually went outside, found a sacred space with two dowsing rods around the place I was living. I burned sage and did meditations in this area. It felt like a portal or a power or a ley line. And then I asked the orbs to come through the ley line. And man, this was the picture that came out, dude. And this picture is like beautiful.
Hmm.
Just all the colors, you know?
It just makes you wonder, like once we cross the other side, like certain parts of the ether or the astral planes, so this is what we, if we so choose, we could see this all the time. We'd
Oh
walk
yeah.
through a sea of these different beings, then we wouldn't be phased by it. We just accept it. We just be like, wow, this is just.
You
It
know?
certainly would make the world a lot more interesting to know. But then again, then there's the whole idea that people will feel uncomfortable about, and that's that you're not really alone.
Right. Yeah, you're not.
And so, if you're like, well, I want my privacy, and you're like,
What do
"Well,
you want privacy for? What are you doing that no one else is doing too? You're doing the same thing everybody else is doing.
or right, or that this the illusion of privacy, right?
Right,
That
right,
and that people are uncomfortable with that fact, and they would have to come to terms with the fact that all around them there are beings and entities that are observing us, paying attention, influencing us in ways that we don't fully understand.
right. And for all we know, all the things that we want to be secretive about, like let's say you thinking that you can't do something with your partner because you think you're being watched. Likewise to them, they probably don't want to see that. That probably looks gross to them. You know what I mean? Where all they
Or
gotta
maybe
do is
not.
just
It means you're producing energy. And I mean,
I
And
mean, do you? I
let's
mean,
be
are you?
honest.
Do you want to stare at two animals going at it? And are you fascinated when you watch two animals reproducing? I'm not.
I'm not. I'm I'm not into porn or anything like that, but
I'm just saying. I
I
just say. I'm just saying.
but
If two,
either entities like Bob Monroe says that they feed off our emotions, they feed off our fears, they feed off our, and he said the biggest producer of loosh is actually the act of making love. So then, and he says he's received this on the other side, right?
hmm
Then these beings, I can't remember what they call them now. I have to reread that, um, or replay it. But these beings on the other side said this: they harvested. It's like they trade. It's like commerce in the spirit realm. Our emotions that we produce, our feelings, our negative thoughts, our positive thoughts, they trade it like on the stock exchange type of thing, uh,
hmm
in the spirit realm. So,
hmm
you know what I mean? I know it sounds bizarre, but there is a possibility because at times you have to. We do ask ourselves, what is the purpose of this life? And people say, well, it's about learning lessons, and then you have to deal with the fact that the memory swipe and how people don't remember their previous lives,
hmm
and they are just bits and pieces of it best. And um, so what are the lessons really being learned? Are they clear to us? Is it to the point like the Gnostics, certain other groups, and many indigenous First Nations people, their legends pretty much are saying we need to prepare ourselves not to come back here, to
Right. Right.
move on to happier hunting grounds, if you
Oh
will.
yeah. Oh yeah. And to be done with reincarnation.
Right. And that seems to be the universal purpose of everything. And look at that. Look at that. So are you filming this all by yourself? Is it on a tripod or stand or then
Yeah,
or are you
it's on a
timer?
stand, or sometimes if I'm with a friend, I'll have them take a picture. But most of the time, I makeshift a tripod out of something.
And then there's a timer on your phone then, and you just like
I'm like digital camera. Yeah, on the digital camera.
and you have it so you don't have you can walk away and just like every 3 5 seconds it takes a flash.
Yes, yes. I do three shots that go off every 8 seconds a piece.
Really?
hmm
What kind of camera you have?
I have a Canon Power Shot. Um, I'm gonna say 20 megapixels camera right now. This is the one I'm using right now, and so it has a custom timer for pictures where you can do 10 pictures, 8 pictures, 7 pictures. But what I have found is that if you go above three, you get more cloudy pictures. But if you do just three solid pictures at a time, you get super crisp pictures. But if I were to program it to do 10, they would be all blurry.
And one thing I noticed too is that am I taking these pictures, I'll get like a lot of times in the beginning I'm getting them and really great images, but as the seconds and the minutes go on, they diminish. Like they realize what's happening, and they all disperse. They run away from the flash on your camera. Does that make sense?
Um
And then
y-
you catch them again in a different spot in the sky, and well, in others, it seems to me that they have enough intelligence. They know what's going on with that camera,
right.
and a lot of them apparently don't want to be filmed.
Well, the like if you ask them, maybe maybe they'll, because that's what I do. I always ask them. These are now these pictures right here are with a different camera. I was able to put, this is a Power Shot 190 IS. So these are just some pictures with a different camera I had at the time. So I was just researching, and see, now this one act funny. Um, so
What's
taking pictures.
amazing to me, so when did you first realize orbs were real?
Probably in the year 2014.
So you're like so ahead of the game And someone like me who's done a lot of research about the truth, being in the truth movement and searching for the truth, there's very few people are where you're at. And most people would see this and just dismiss it and run away. I mean, when I say most, I'm understating it. And I'm not taking this, and it's not something we should take personal. It's just something we deal with, and to get the point of ourself accepting not only the orbs are real, but that most of the world's not going to be able to embrace what we know, and we just pursue further to the truth. And but uh, from my observations, you're one of the very first people to kind of wake up to this.
Yeah, yeah. I think so. And then,
I
you
mean, there's
know, there is a book out there called the Orb Project, written by three professors, and they actually use their scientific method, and they believe the orbs are definitely real and sentient. And these were guys that weren't even connected to paranormal or anything, just three scholars with PhDs that decided to write a book about orbs. And that they did that book around the same time I was discovering them.
see the Orb Project by
Yeah.
Heinemann, PhD, Klaus. They sound like they're
Yes.
Germans.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
there's,
You see it right now?
I'm looking it up right now.
Okay.
I'm going to see. Is it on archive.org?
I'm not sure. I have the book. I'm not sure.
If it's relatively new, it probably won't be.
Oh, I have I'm actually in another book too, called by this woman named Merlena Marcinian, I think her last name is.
Just look at this Orbs of the Adventures Beyond the Ultra World. Have you heard of that one?
No.
Um, I'm looking at archive.org. It's got Carl Sinsman, the co author of the Orb Project. The Orb, free download. I haven't looked at these. So it looks there's
Check
uh,
this out. This is a really interesting book too. And I this woman, her name is Merlena. Um I'm gonna show you what this looks like. So check this out real quick. This is her book she wrote about orbs. It's called The New Macrocosmic World Order, written by Merlena Marcon. And she's talking about these orbs, and she wrote a book. And she says that she developed a method to look into the orbs and um
what
and
say
see and
what's the name of
see.
that? Can you show the cover again one more time before we look
Okay,
at those images?
okay.
The new macrocosmic world of order. Okay, the new microcosmic world or of order. That's a great. Okay, you can. So I just wanted to remember. I'm going to look it up. The new.
Macrocosmic World of Order.
Sorry, I can't help you with that.
But
What was that?
oh, that was Siri playing around. So
We
she talks a lot about orbs, and she talks a lot about seeing um beings with crowns and stuff. And oh, look who made it in her book.
So this is originally published in 2019. So this is relatively new as well. Okay.
Right.
So this is. Oh, you're in the book as well. There you go. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
but she didn't give me a study. She did case studies with friends on Facebook who were doing pictures, who were taking orb pictures, but she never chose me, which I really wish she would have, because I got an orb with the word love in it, and I really wish you. And I got faces and all these beautiful things. Maybe one day, but so
How many images does she have? How expensive was that book?
um I believe this book. How many pages? This book is. I'm at 161, maybe about 200 pages. Yeah, 207 pages. It's
And
about.
how much was it?
Um, I don't know. I don't remember.
Well,
I mean,
obviously, if
I'm looking to
it
see if
was
there's a
if it wasn't
price.
that expensive, because if it was expensive, you remember. So I just want to know that's all. Because a lot of these books are expensive, because I can imagine the one I'm going to when I finish with all the images that I have, the images alone are what makes it expensive. So they limit, people try to limit the number of images, but I want to have a catalog, if you will, of images that I'm filming. But I've talked to you about the same thing. Co-authoring or having other people contribute, I should say,
Hmm.
to the imagery and maybe a little bit of their experiences as well. And I think that the strength in the case, right?
Right.
What we're seeing, what we're filming, because this is this is not one size fit all type of thing going on here. And I think that's part of the problem people embracing as well, is that you're going to have your experience, I'm going to have my experience, the next person's going to have their experience, and everyone's going to have their own experience, and everyone's going to see different things at times. I mean, I'm not saying that you won't see orbs per se, or which I mean, I've seen Sasquatch, and
Hmm.
you've seen your thing. You know what I mean? And
Right.
someone else was, had a an experience with fairies, or another one we experienced with, I don't know, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? And that's how the matrix kind of works. It reveals little different things to us, but it doesn't seem to be like a universe. One. It's kind of like what UFOologists want. They want it one size fit all, just like the
Right.
Bigfoot researchers want the one size fit all, or the cryptids want the one size fit all. They want it all to fit within their materialistic, uh, uh, physical, mechanical reality.
Model. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're models.
and we're starting to realize that
Right.
this place is far more dynamic than that.
That's right. And I tell you what, they don't have the language in their scientific models to talk about the things we are experiencing. Therefore, they like to just write us off as being something that, that's they can't explain. So they'll just say it's dust. You know.
Yeah. So what is your goal? What is it with your TikTok channel? And we should probably post that and let people see what that is. Or share it, I should say.
Hmm.
So I am going, since you're, let's go.
Yes, my name on TikTok is Yes You Are, as one word, YesYoUARE. My name is James Lindsay's Orbs.
Showing it right now, brother. There it is.
Hmm.
James Lindsay Orbs.
Hmm.
We updated our community guidelines to help TikTok. Why is that in the way? Got it. Get out of the way. There you go. James Lindsay, or Lindsay. How do you pronounce it?
It depends on how I'm feeling.
Okay.
Let's go.
James Lindsay.
Some
Oh,
people say Lindsay, some people say Lindsay. I just say Lindsay. Lindsay.
I like
Lindsay.
Lindsay. Lindsay sounds, it's very more sophisticated sounding. Lindsay.
Yeah.
It always reminds me of Jacques Vallée, James Lindsay.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
I think it's somehow, I don't know what it is. I think it has something to do with like Scottish like name or something like that. And of course we over here in America, melanated beings here in America have genetics that are probably everything you could think of, because we've been so interbred with all these other races. So my
Absolutely.
name, like I know for a fact I have a Cherokee, Irish, and um, Cherokee, Irish, and that's really all I know. Cherokee and Irish. Oh, Scottish, I think is what they said. The woman that was in our bloodline was a red-haired Caucasian woman who married into my melanated family, and and so that was where the Irish and the Scottish roots came from. So.
And so, like me, as Dutch, French, uh, uh, Ojibwe, Cherokee, a little British. So the Indians on my dad's side, and my mom is
Mm-hmm.
pretty much from the Basque region. She is 100% RH negative. So
Mm-hmm.
I was born with the symptoms of what happens when someone RH positive, RH negative have children. So I have what is called, I mean, for whatever it's worth, I know some people say you're superior negative, but it is this I have. It's called RH negative. They call it RH negative disease.
Right. Right.
Genetic,
Heard of
like
it.
little defects, that kind of stuff.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, it's just really interesting. I've been a lot of the ancient beings and extraterrestrials. They don't look at us like racially. They just look at us as one species, as humans, and they laugh at us when someone says, "Oh, I'm German, I'm Irish, I'm Native." They think that is the most ridiculous thing, that we just don't accept ourselves as being human. It's almost like, two dogs fighting over which one. I'm a Saint Bernardo. I'm a Doberman Pinscher. Oh, we gonna fight. You know what I mean? And it's like, to them, what really is, we're all spirits inhabiting these bodies. It's almost like, it's almost like you getting into a car, and let's just say, you have a Ford, and then, like, you all of a sudden, you just, drive Ford all your life. I don't know what I was getting at, but I think you might know what I mean. They just say that to acknowledge your race is kind of, and be going around proclaiming I'm this and that. They just see it as very childish, that we're all just human, and what's more
Yeah.
important is our spirit, where we come from. We bring the gifts from the spirit into these bodies.
I wonder is
These,
that do they see that and not actually the physical? They see the ethereal,
right,
our true essence. They don't see the physical at all.
right,
They
right,
just see it. They see it as like a costume that we're wearing.
exactly,
Because
exactly,
that's pretty
exactly.
much what's happening, right? This,
Hmm.
this is a great image here. I mean, for what I can see, I think you see. I don't know. Tell me what you see, but I see an eye here, nose, something going on here at least,
Hmm.
and it's
Okay.
almost like there's something holding on to this orb with fingers. I can almost see a knuckles and a hand,
Oh, I see that now. Yeah.
and the way I see it,
Hmm.
it's almost like it's I don't know if it was a dog man or some kind of cryptid or something that it doesn't look necessarily human as holding the orb. And I have seen other images where things, the spirits, the different entities, including Bigfoot, have an orb they're holding on to in front of
Yes.
their chest or in their
Yes.
stomach,
Yes.
or sometimes in their head. Uh,
That's right.
and I just wonder if they use the orb in order. Do they gain power? Is that like a power supply? Is that like a food source? The orb for
Could
these
be.
entities?
Could be the key, the 0 point energy or something.
Yeah.
Now in this one, I see. I always see a blue head on the bottom. I see eyes, two eyes, and a mouth, and I see an antenna coming off his head with a glowing ball at the tip of the antenna.
Is this the glowing ball?
Yeah, and the
The
antenna.
antenna and the antenna there.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. It is interesting. Everyone sees something differently. And of course, in this, we were wrestling with people saying that we are dealing with pareidolia. And I think it's just time and experience.
Right,
And then there's, like I said, the possibility that we're actually looking at multiple things at one time. And that's
right,
why everyone sees something a little bit different based on your own reference point, your own experiences, the things you've seen in your life, right? The things you've heard. And that's what, and so that you're going to project that onto that image. And maybe when we get to the other side, we'll find out that these things don't look anything like we thought they would look like. You know what I mean?
that's right. And I would like to also continue this conversation with you, because I think I'm gonna have to get going around 9. I think that's the marker for me tonight.
That's what I was planning on.
Okay.
When
Okay,
so
and like, we could also set this up, every Tuesday if we like, or every other Tuesday if we like, and we can always come back and revisit and just hang out because we got pretty good. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So,
We got a ton of stuff to talk about. We're just scratching the surface, and I think it's a very. My personal feeling is it's a very well. It's just very important topic to me, but I think for humanity's sake, we need to talk about this stuff and pierce the veil instead of being afraid of it and
that's right.
come more aware of our not our true essence, but what it really is around us. And if these things don't look the way we want them to, we need to adapt.
Right.
Not them. I think that's part of the problem. Right now, what they seem to be doing is trying to adapt for us, and they can't do it fully. And what I mean by that is like usually what influences us is through imagery. We judge a lot through our eyes and things that we see, right?
Right.
And I think that we maybe need to learn how to look at some of these things, and they maybe are pretty scary looking, but we can get over
That's
it.
right.
We have to
That's
get
right. Yeah,
to
we
learn.
have to. Plain and simple.
So James, so we'll just end it now. Thank you for this hour. We got a ton to talk about, but hopefully as time goes on, there'll be more people here. We'll have people that will hopefully show up after the show.
Okay.
I just started doing lives again. I took a break for 5 months, so I'm I'm happy that the last show at least 66 people ended up watching it.
Wow. Congrats.
And
That's good.
this one will happen too. It's just we got a lot of competition right now, and people are forgot about us. It's like 'cause everyone has a TikTok, a YouTube, a Rumble, and which is awesome by the way. I think it's awesome that everybody does that.
Discord,
Right. So it's just a matter of time
Telegram.
people finding us. So
That's right. That's right. And
um,
it's a matter of us putting in a little bit of the work ourselves. Like if we had been doing shows for the past let's say every 3 weeks for the past 5 months, I'm sure right now we probably have 150 people, but you know what I mean?
I think so.
You know.
Especially
So
you and your positive energy and the stuff you have to share.
yeah,
Because
it's
there's a lot of
growing.
things that, for those who hear this, James does readings and some of the sacred texts and some, I guess
Hmm.
it'd be Hermetic philosophy. Would that be a good way of saying it?
Yeah, yeah, that would be cool. Yeah.
Well, how would you describe yourself today as far as your worldview and what your belief system?
Well, I keep my belief system open at all times because I've always been fascinated by something new. Once I wrap my head around something, something happens to unwrap it again, and I'm like, okay, I'm have to be new for this. I always have to keep my brain from not being boxed in. But a few things that I feel that I'm solidifying to my own personal self that I'll reveal is that definitely a male and female aspect to creation that are blended together. Um, Definitely a female, definitely a male energy that are one. That can be separated as far as to create life, but also is uniquely a oneness that's within everything. A certain form of androgyny that is kind of coherent within everything, even inanimate objects. I'm starting to feel that, and also one of the things that I've been expressing lately, and I've learned this from a book called Initiation, written by Elizabeth Haich. She had an experience of a past life in ancient Egypt or Kemet, whatever you want to call it, and she wanted initiation, which meant that she had access to the Ark of the Covenant and things of power. Now, this book talks about a race of beings that were in total harmony with the world and were different from any other beings that we know today. These beings had power over the weather. They knew how to turn matter into force and force into matter. And one of the things that has really resonated with me recently from this book is something called the law of matter. And what they say the law of matter is, they say that, let's just say everything started from a source, and then that light went out for billions upon trillions of years. The further that light got away from itself, the further that light traveled away from its source, let's say the harder that light became, to the point after billions upon trillions upon billions and billions and billions, not even worth in thinking about years, that all of a sudden a third dimension was born. And what they say is that the same laws that hold a rock together, the same laws that hold crystals together, causes them to be cold and hard, is the same law that works with your body. Okay, and so what that means is that we are spiritual beings inhabiting these physical bodies. So when we act in a way that's not of our spirit, when we act, let's just say you won't you act mean all the time, what do we call that person? Hard-headed. What do you do with a person who's really tough and he's a beast and you don't want to mess with him? What do we call him? We call that dude is hard. So what I discovered from this book, I think I like this idea that they say that there's no such thing as like a war between Satan and God, or God. Satan, they say, is a law of matter. And what happens when you are in your body and you're feeling, lower, you do lower things. You feel greed, you feel envious, you feel anger. That's you manifesting the lower form of reality, the law of matter. Now when you're meditating and you're breathing light and you're taking pictures of orbs and you're spreading love, then you are manifesting the law of spirit, right? So, what happens to your body when you unalive, when you are no longer here? The same thing that happens to a rock happens to your body. Your body becomes hard. Your body becomes that decomposition. It becomes rigid. And so they say that Satan, that law, dies with the physical body when the physical body is unalive. And when you're out of your body, you are no longer bound by this uh, material satanic world. Now, if you think about the world,
Makes sense.
yeah,
Kind
right,
of, yeah.
yeah, right. And then if you look at the world, what has they done with your spirit? Instead of honoring your divine true spirit that is housed in your body, they took it out of you and put it into a book. So now that you worship a book as God, that's about as satanic as you can get.
Absolutely. That's a great word to stand right there.
You know,
It's absolutely the truth.
you you know,
It's honestly, that's what I keep telling people was that Judo Christianity, and you can throw in all the Abraham faiths, are and Satanism are two sides of the same coin.
right. That's right.
That's what's
That's
going on.
right. And that's what's going on. And that's what really, now what they say in this ancient book, in this ancient text, channeled through what she says too, as he was learning from these great teachers, is that what they said is that a normal person who has no kind of awareness of the things we talk about, who just lives their life, works, go to work, come home, live their life, have family, live their life, same old stuff, watching football, going to church, living the life. When they unalive and they're at the moment of their death, they say that they just start dreaming again. It's almost like a dream, and they get lost, and to the point where they come back and get reincarnated again. But the people who are like us, who actually understand what's going on, when we unalive, we remain awake out of the body. And then we could do whatever we want to do. we're not dreaming no more. We have done the work, and so there's a process upon which where we go, let's say, back up into the light faster, and able to come back faster if we want to or not, rather than the average person who would just unalive and go dreaming and then get caught right back into this again.
Well, I get the impression that when we get to the other side, there's like layers of experiences and imagery is going to happen. The first round is going to be being love bombed.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And so, and if you're not strong enough to resist the love bomb, because you're going to feel like this incredible sense of love that you never felt in your life before, and we don't know where that's coming from. We have to just stand back a little bit and say, reveal yourself. You know what I mean? Uh,
Hmm.
I've already gone through this through religion and workplace and relationships and everything else, where somebody told me that gave me this amazing feeling of like being loved, only to find out that
Right.
it wasn't true.
Right.
And so if you're able to resist that, most people won't be able to. And they say that, and it ties in with the Tibetan Book of the Dead, that you will end up going back into the womb and come back out and become reincarnated, because
Right.
you will go to the false light.
Right.
And if
Right.
you're not if you're able to resist the love bombing, then the next round, and it can be flipped. Each person's journey is different, but then there's the scary, dark-looking beings, and that would probably drive even more people back into the false light, because they cannot prepare themselves to look at these things and realize that we have more strength
Right.
than
That's
they do,
right. That's right. That's right.
more authority in them. So just because they
That's
look
right.
scary doesn't mean they can do anything to
I
us.
wouldn't doubt if that when we unalive and let's say we're sitting there and we're conscious that it just happened and our body is on the floor and we're outside of our bodies, the next thing you know, you see all these dark entities crawling up around the body, and the next thing you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go right back in my body and fight them off. You know, I'm gonna go into my body and start breathing light like I do now, and maybe that's the key to resurrection.
I don't know.
Instead of going into the light, you go right back into your body and meditate. You know,
I don't know, but I know one thing: these conversations are important to me. I think they're important to other people, that we start talking about what's on the other side, what's in the ether, what's in the astral planes, and what our future is. And it's
right,
just something that for generations, people asking the questions. But we are now in this time and age where a guy like you from different parts of the world, different walks of life, can get together and have this conversation. Now we have to worry about joining some cult or some religion or some group
that's right.
about some guru, and we can work this stuff out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So we're planting seeds for not only for people around us and even ourselves in personal growth, but for the future.
right. That's right.
And
And
so, because I think that this is a very important topic, that we continue to talk about what we are and what we're going to face, what's really around us.
that's right. That's
How are
right.
we supposed to handle all this stuff? And we haven't even got a chance to talk about it, so next time we'll talk more about that.
Oh yeah.
just get reacquainting people to James Lindsay,
And
or
there's, yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mike.
Americans or Whisper. Make sure to subscribe to his channel at TikTok. And James, I'm sure we'll talk with probably within 24 hours on TikTok.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say I'm gonna go right now. Thank you all for listening. I love your energy, Mike. Thank you guys in the comments. Thank you all future listeners of this stream. But Mike, I'm gonna go because I got to run to the store, and then I'll come back and I'll be on live if you want to come and chat.
Yes, we're gonna. Right now, I'm gonna close out with a song and talk to you soon, bro. Thank you.
All right, appreciate the time, my friend. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, bye bye.
I'll see you, bro.
Okay.
So here I go. That was turned out good. It's a weird beginning, but that's usually what happens in these side times. It doesn't even matter. It happens all the time. People do live shows on TikTok, or not TikTok, but here on YouTube, and guests are always late. You just got to figure readapt. So I figure, if James was late, I didn't think actually. I'm really grateful that he showed up. So it was a good conversation. Starting to share some imagery and talk about some of our experiences and what we're filming, and hopefully other people take this seriously. But we have to be. I think we have to be more honest about what we're dealing with, be okay with the uncertainty of it, and not assume that we have all the answers. And just learn. It's a slow process for many of us. So, anyways, which one are we going to play? I think I love that. Let's do this one.
Picture a day where the things that you do or you don't won't matter anymore. What a bore it is to live in the shadows of things you could be, but we'll see. Blur your sight to see what you do or you don't wanna be. When it's all said and done, what will be what matters most? Well, not at all, it's your call. To know you anymore. I'm still sore from what you